You know what you're missing in your life? A shirt with my face on it. I mean, Valentine's Day is coming up, and if your significant other doesn't give you a shirt with my freaking goofy face on it, I'd break up with them, honestly. So if I were you, I would go in my description box and click the link that says buy my merch and get yourself a fancy shirt. You'll look fly as hell. Hi everyone, my name is Holly, and this is my very first book haul of 2020. Now, I haven't done a book haul in 2 months. My last one was in November. I didn't really haul many books in December, which is why I wanted to wait a little bit. So now I do have a giant stack of books to show you, including ARCs, books I got for my birthday and Christmas, and even books from subscription boxes, including the January Owl Crate, which has one giant dent in it. Someone was very angry. Oh, do I have an exciting video for you today. So let's go ahead and start with the books that were sent to me from Orbit Books, my one true love. And that first one is A Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. This is a dark epic fantasy that releases in April, and it is a lengthy boy. Over 700 pages of war and bloodshed and fatality. It is set in a powerful nation that is controlled by a council of nobles and is under constant threat of a massive empire on its border, as well as the dark magic-wielding criminal organization that is known as the Crow Market. And that is where the magic comes in and where the big smile on my face appears. This is supposedly perfect for fans of George R. R. Martin, Brent Weeks, Brandon Sanderson. I'll actually be reading this in April, so we will see if it holds up to all of that praise. Orbit has never led me astray when it comes to fantasy, and just in general, this has a huge potential to be a favorite. In fact, Orbit left me a note saying that it will more than likely will be a favorite. Those are bold words. Up next, I have The Shadow States by Gareth Hanrahan. I am just going to quickly mention this one because I will be talking more about it in a future video, but this is the sequel to The Gutter Prayer, which released on January 7th. So if you have read and loved the first one, then you can immediately dive into this one. You don't have to wait any longer. This is a fantasy that is layered with history and vivid characters. There are gods, thievery, ancient rites, stone men, and worm people? It's a series that the fantasy Reddit is constantly raving about, so if I were you, I'd pick it up. I always forget to put the books up here, so don't mind me. And then I have The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep by H.G. Perry. This is the new paperback edition with the new cover. I actually own the hardcover edition, which are vastly different, and I gotta tell you, I think I prefer this paperback cover. I mean, this is gorgeous, but there's something about this really old looking bookshelf on this cover that is so enticing, and I think it's really clever to have this page furling up to reveal the author name. I love that. This is a literary fantasy all about books. It is set in New Zealand following a character who has the uncanny magical ability to summon characters and even important objects out of books. If you're an avid reader, I'm sure that sounds amazing to you because, I mean, who wouldn't want to summon characters out of books? I mean, freaking Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses. Hell yeah. Logan Ninefingers from the First Law universe. Count me in. Hi everyone, so it's actually the next day and I just got a box of books from Orbit and I thought I would include it in this video. So let's go through these. These books will actually be in my February TBR. I will be reading all 3 of these, so I won't talk about them too much because I will be going more in depth very soon. So we have The Wolf of Oran by K.S. Veloso. The spine of this one is so pretty, but here is the back. They did such a good job with this cover. I love it. And then we have The Last Smile in Sunder City by Luke Arnold. This is another one that I find the cover so enticing and so unique. But this is a urban fantasy and it really reminds me of The Wolf Among Us. And I'm really excited about it. And then last but not least is a book that I typically wouldn't read, but I am so hyped for it. It's A Witch in Time by Constance Sayers. And it sounds amazing. There is the synopsis because it would do a better job than me explaining it to you, but it's basically about a woman who must live multiple lives of affairs and shit like that. I don't know, but it sounds awesome. Moving on, I have The Conference of Birds by Ransom Riggs, and this comes out in February. This was sent to me from Penguin Random House, so thank you so much. This is the continuation of the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's actually the 5th book. It's a YA fantasy series, and when I read it a few years ago, I absolutely adored it, and Ransom Briggs decided to tack on to the series. I have yet to read A Map of Days, but since this does come out in February, I want to slide both of them into my February TBR. I do truly love this world, and I find it incredibly unique, and this setting takes place in America, so it should be interesting. I just can't wait to discover more secrets when it comes to the different time loops, and also to see our old characters from Library of Souls and see how they are experiencing the modern era. So I can't wait to delve back into this world. I did it again. I forgot to put these books up here. Up next, I have this beautiful arc of The Unspoken Name by A.K. Lurkwood. I talked about this one in a recent video, and I will be talking about it again at the end of February because it is part of my February TBR since that's when it comes out. So I apologize for all the repeats, but this is a heavy adult fantasy that is following a orc priestess who sounds like she goes on one hell of a ride. She's supposed to be sacrificed to a god, and then she runs away with a wizard, becomes an assassin, and then while all this is happening, she's being chased by the god who wants revenge. Sounds like one hell of a gut-punchy adventure story. It's supposed to blend sci-fi and fantasy together in the story, and I do have a kind of bad rep when it comes to orc books, but I'm hoping this breaks the curse because I do have another orc series that I'm about to show you. And I have hopes for all of them, so let's just cross our fingers. And that next Orc series I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about is Orc Blood Legacy Honor and Orc Blood Legacy Madness, books 1 and 2. Both of these were sent to me by the author Bernard Bertman, so thank you so much. That was very kind of you. I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to delve into these because they are supposed to be incredibly brutal orc stories, which sounds totally right up my alley. There is a disclaimer to these in that they contain graphic violence, so please keep that in mind. Don't want to taint your young ones. So we have the protagonist, Fengdar, who is an orc, and he has finally followed his father's footsteps to lead his people to greatness. But his unorthodox upbringing has instilled values that conflict with what it means to be an orc, leaving him torn between what he is and what he should be, which sounds very mysterious and ominous, and I am here for it. And what's even more fitting is that these books are compared to R.A. Salvatore's work, who is an author I am currently loving, so it's perfect. Up next, I have Valley of the Free, which was a surprise gift copy from Michael Slider himself, so thank you so much. This author and the author of the Orc Blood Legacy series are both from Ohio, so if you're from Ohio and you want to support your fellow Ohioan, which I sure do, then be sure to check these series out because they are both indie authors, so they could really use your support. This is a prequel novella for the Pandemonium Rising series. It's a grimdark fantasy and it's only 100 pages, so it should be a very quick read. If you have yet to read Solace Lost or Wisdom Lost, which is book 1 and 2, you could possibly start here since it's a prequel and it will give you a good idea about the writing style and the story, so I highly recommend. Michael is a fantastic writer, so if you haven't started the series, then this might be a really great place to start. So these next 2 books I'll be talking about were Christmas gifts, and the first one I'll be talking about is just a yes from me on all levels, and that is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This book just sounds incredible. This was actually one of my most anticipated reads of 2019, but I just never got a chance to read it, but now I have a physical copy, and boy, we are digging in. This cover, when it was first revealed, had me hook, line, and sinker. This is supposed to be a Chosen One story, but with a twist. We're following Mattias and Aslo, who are BFFs. And when Mattias finds out that he is the Chosen One, prophesies to save the world, he immediately goes out and gets attacked by monsters and dies. That's not a spoiler, that's part of the synopsis. Aslo witnesses this and decides to take up the mantle himself, even though everyone thinks it's a horrible idea. Aslo says fuck it and just decides to do it anyways. I can't wait to read this one. I've heard it's very action-packed, and I know a lot of my friends who love it, and it just puts the fantasy genre spinning in a new direction. And then I have Reckoning of the Fallen Gods by R.A. Salvatore, which is actually the most recent book that I finished at the time I'm filming this video anyways. I'm probably on to book 3 by now. This is book 2 in the Coven series, and it is amazing. I'll be reviewing the entire Coven series as a whole in my January wrap-up, so be sure to look out for that. But R.A. Salvatore is more than likely an auto-buy author for me now. His writing style just meshes with me so well. This sequel is just one heart attack after another. We're following Eowyn, who lives amongst this really brutal barbaric tribe up in the mountains. They are pretty much savages, and Eowyn is caught in the middle of it. Like I said, I'll be talking more about this book in depth in a later video. But yeah, I'm officially a R.A. Salvatore fangirl. Up next, I have The Guinevere Deception by Kristen White. This was in the December Outcrates. This is a YA fantasy that sounds like a fun adventure. It's a fantasy reinvention of King Arthur, and we're following our main protagonist, Guinevere, who is a changeling. She actually uses dark illegal magic to do her job, and that is to protect King Arthur. She works in the shadows to keep him safe, and she investigates any questionable figures that rise and threaten his reign. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this book takes place mostly within a castle, and I typically really enjoy fantasies that do that, so I'm going into this one with higher hopes than should exist. Up next, I have This Will Kill That by Danielle K. Rowe, and this was in the December Beacon book box. I have actually never ever seen this book. I've never heard of it before, but it has black sprayed edges. It has a really interesting cover, and the naked hardback is gorgeous. It is purple and shiny as hell. All I know about it is that it's a dystopian that takes place after a plague that has occurred, and now society is sorted by color, and certain colors are superior to others. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that synopsis, but here we are. It's a pretty book nonetheless. Alrighty, so now it is time to open the January Outcrate. I am a rep for them, and you can use my code Holly to save on your very first subscription. I'm pretty sure I know what the book is in this box, and if I'm right, oh god, I can't get it open. I have actually read it. It was the second book I read in January, so I'm very excited to see the exclusive cover, if I'm right to begin with. Oh yeah, so that's why the box was so freaking heavy. We have a mug. I'm pretty sure this is the next Harry Potter mug, which I'm really excited to see. Ooh, that is so cool. So I'm just going to spin you around. Oh, I love all these colors. The artist who does this is amazing. Up next, we have a candle that says Sear. It's gonna smell like dragon fruit and tropical rainforest. I'm not entirely sure what this is from, but let's smell it. Ooh, that smells so good. I honestly love getting candles in subscription boxes. In fact, here is the December one, and I'm almost out of it, which makes me so sad. I loved the smell of this. Fire and cinnamon chai. Oh, it was so good. Oh, okay, so this is inspired by Children of Blood and Bone. That's cool. Oh my god. Okay, so up next we have Crooked Kingdom socks. Wow, that is super cool. I love that symbol right there. And they're Hufflepuff colors too. So here is what they look like. Those are socks for you. Oh, this is cool. So we have a pin banner that has a map of the Hobbit on it. I'm really happy that they included this because my pin banner currently is like full to capacity. And this one is even cooler than the one I have. Here's a close-up of it. Up next, we have the monthly pin. It says blood to blood, name to name, and bone to bone. So it's very reflective. Oh, there you go. That's a really good view of it. Not my nails. Excuse the nails. There you go. That's better. Okay, so I see the book, and oh my goodness, it's pretty. Up next, we have this, and I don't know what it is. Oh, it's a pocket mirror. It has like little departments inside to keep like, I don't know, like jewelry or something. But it says you've got words in your soul. What is that from? Oh, it's inspired by Nevernight. I haven't read that series yet, so that's why I wouldn't know. Okay, so we've come to the book, and I gotta say, I think I like this cover better. Scavenge the Stars by Tara Smith, and boom, this covered. It is the book that I thought it was, and I have read it, but you'll have to hear more of my thoughts in my wrap-up at the end of the month. It comes with an author letter, and that's what it looks like naked. And it's signed. I don't know what the heck that is, but it's apparently signed. So I'm sure most of you know what the original cover looks like, but let me show you anyways. So this is the original cover, and that's the Outcrate exclusive cover. I like this cover so much better. They did such a great job. So next month's theme is going to be a Power Within, and you can use my code, Holly, on your very first subscription to get yourself one. And it's going to include a deck of playing cards inspired by Throne of Glass. So that should be interesting. Alrighty, so that is the end of this video. These are all the books I acquired this month. Tell me down below what books that you have acquired because I would love to know. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, and go ahead and subscribe. I upload videos every single week. Follow me on Instagram at HollyHeartsBooks and on Twitter at HollyNiece. And until we meet again, happy reading.